Hi, good evening. Welcome to the August 4th meeting of the Board of Education here at Struble Elementary. Thanks for joining us. Now I'd like to invite everybody to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance in honor of our flag and our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Amy, can you do roll call?
Ms. Slattery?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert?
Here.
Mrs. Talby?
Here. All right, and I will read our mission statement. The Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to success. And if I can get a motion for approval of the agenda in a second.
So moved. Second.
And any discussion, questions about the agenda in advance? And my vote's not coming up again. Is your vote coming up? The vote's not coming up again.
Mine did.
Mine is not. Did yours come up?
Nancy with her
Why does mine never come up?
vote.
No, I clicked on it, but
Hit that refresh button. It's right here. All right, you might have to go back into that.
okay. Now it's just a blank screen.
Join meeting. Okay, and then you go.
Vote yes again.
That's weird.
All right, and that passes without opposition.
All right, tonight we're going to start with a special presentation. So we have Karen Hood, principal of Struble, who is going to introduce the Struble Elementary Motor Lab with a team.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen Hood, and I proudly serve as principal here at Struble. And we're excited to welcome you to our building, but more excited to share about our motor lab. With me tonight, I have Becca Stock. She's one of our occupational therapists, and Taylor Lawson. She's one of our counselors. And this came from just a suggestion, I guess, or proposal that was shared with me last year as we were getting into the school year, and really felt that it's a support for our students. Why not give it a go? So if they've prepared a presentation tonight, there'll be some kid voices in it and then a sweet video at the end. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you guys so much for having us. The Motor Lab really came from a dream that we had and also a response, as the Northwest Mission said. We wanted to be responsive to a need that we were seeing in the schools. And that need being, we felt like students were constantly, our staff members were constantly running around responding one-on-one to student behaviors. And it wasn't really time efficient, and it wasn't really in the students' best interests, as once that happened, they were already escalated, they were getting pulled out of class, and they were staying out of class for a long time. So we wanted to create a space that could be proactive and really help students to get ahead of those behaviors so that they weren't happening, and that so that students could stay in the classroom longer and get their self-regulation needs met.
All right, so you might be asking, what is a motor lab, which is kind of a fun name. So the motor lab is an intentionally designed space. In this building, we use the maker space, which actually lends itself really well to kind of where our thinking was. But there's multi-sensory tools that can be used in this room. You'll see in that picture, like trampolines. There's a crash pad in that back corner. We're going to show you several later with some videos of kids using the space. But the purpose is there's different activating activities, like movement-based. There's also some more calming regulation, emotional regulation spaces, and some different sensory impact tools, all in this space that can be pulled out and used as we have different groups of students coming in throughout the day. And it's been really awesome to design. We did start it kind of halfway through last year and kind of went, kind of figured it out as we went. So we have a lot of plans this year, but it's been really awesome to see what the students, as they learn to use this space.
The purpose of the Motor Lab at Struble Elementary is to proactively support student self-regulation requirements so that they can remain engaged in the learning process and participate in activities that they want to do, need to do, and are expected to do throughout their school day. And I think the big word here, and I've said it before and I'll probably keep saying it, is that it's proactive. I think it's important to point out here what the Motor Lab is not. It's not a recess space, and it's not a de-escalation space. So we really wanted it to be not a space that, like, after the student has escalated, that we're like, let's come into this room and jump on the trampoline. We wanted it to be a space where we're really helping students before those things occur. And so it's been really, really great to kind of, usually these breaks are only about 15 minutes long, and those students are getting back to class. And a lot of these students are transitioning themselves to this space. So we are not, we're saving a lot of time with staff members. They're not having to go get students. They're able to come to this space, get what they need, and return to class.
So who can use this space? So it's for all of our students, all grade levels. Any student is able to utilize it. We do have a specialized process for teachers to recommend that they would like one of their students to use it, so through a referral process. Then myself and Becca and the other school counselor, as well as some other team members, worked to create groups of students that paired well. So we would take into consideration the grade, their schedule, try to kind of work around different transition times like lunch and recess, things like that. And we're very purposeful in when we had students come in at different times. And then we'll talk about in a little bit, something that we found was we didn't always just group first graders together. Sometimes it was first graders and fourth graders in there together. And we found some really cool benefits. We'll share in a little bit on that. But the space is open to all of our students. We work with teachers for them to refer their students. And it was really exciting, and I can't wait to show you some of the videos in a little bit. So,
when students come to use this space, obviously every student, depending on their grade level and their needs, is going to need something a little bit different. So these are just some of the formats that we have for our breaks. Some students might come in and we might do more of a station-based break, so they might be doing 3 minutes at the trampoline, 3 minutes at the water play station, 3 minutes in the tent. Something like that. We also do some guided group activities, which, as you'll see in a little bit, we might have students tossing a ball back and forth and doing more of a social activity. We've done obstacle courses, some of our students just needed a quiet space to rest during their breaks. And a lot of times I really like to pair the two, so I like to do a movement-based activity followed by some resting. And then we've also tried to incorporate, this is something we'd like to work on for this year a little bit better, but even like cleaning days for the space, so that it's not just a space that they get to come in and, just take over and everything. They can really come in and take ownership over the space. So if they're gonna come use this space, we might have once a month where the students, instead of their normal break, they're gonna come in and help clean the space, wipe down all of the trampolines, wipe down all the surfaces. That way they also have some ownership over that space, and so their break might look a little bit different on those days.
So here's where we can share some of the examples of the different stations. You'll see in some of these pictures, We have the, where he's doing like a push-up right there, that's a wiggle machine. It's a vibration plate. If you've seen that before, that's been something students have loved to get on, and you can see the impact just in their face, immediate relief for some of our kiddos as they use that. We have a tent for quiet, calm space. It's darker if they need a restful moment. The water play, I think that has some snow in it. We brought snow in the winter, and they loved to play with that. That's a big sensory piece, and we did some seasonal stuff as different holidays came up and kind of mixed up the different stations to keep it interesting and exciting for them. But we have things like a row and ride, trampolines, kinetic sand, a squeeze machine for some of their those that just need to feel the input on their body, obstacle course that Becca has worked really hard to put together with a lot of purposeful intent. So those are some examples of our stations that we put together.
As I said before, every single student is going to need a little bit something different out of this space. Students might need something that's a little bit more alerting or more calming. Obviously, every single activity could also have very different impacts on students. So some of these activities, I have them on the alerting slide, but they might also be calming for different students, so I think that's important to note. But we've really been trying to highlight too, a lot of times we find that a lot of the students that maybe are getting in a little trouble, having a few behaviors are the ones that end up using this space. But we've really been trying to educate teachers that there's a lot of other students that maybe are falling through the cracks that could also benefit from this space. So maybe students that are underregulated, students that are falling asleep in class, that are having trouble staying focused, and maybe they're following all the rules and expectations, and so their teacher might not notice that might be why they're slipping with their grades. So we really want to find activities that can support students that are maybe having behaviors, but also students that are maybe just underregulated and missing learning in that way.
So here are some calming activities. We've got the tent that they can, or the hammock they can lay in. Again, the water and sensory play. The one where he's on the balance beam there, those blocks are kind of filled with some heavy materials, so they're heavy work. That kind of helps with the regulation of their body. And they loved those. They also thought they were just so cool that they could lift them up and they're so heavy. So there's a lot of purpose there. And like Becca had shared, a lot of times the different staff members that were in the room with them, we'd come in, they'd do an alerting activity and end with a calming before they return and walk to class in the hallway, so they're ready to go. And they got really used to that routine, and it was cool to teach them which activities are alerting versus calming, and then they would end up picking and selecting the order they would choose or the station they wanted to start at. So they did take a lot of ownership and learned a lot about it, which was something kind of maybe unexpected that we were able to teach them in this space, and exciting for them to take some ownership.
As Taylor said, we had a lot of kind of unexpected outcomes when we created this space. We would love to collect more data on things like that this school year. Last year we were just kind of getting things up and running. But we realized through doing this and being in there with these students that using this space has been so much more than a break space. We have seen peer relationships form. We've seen mentorships. In this picture, this video down here, you can't really see it really well, but there are some 5th grade students and a couple 2nd grade students, and the 2nd grade students are trying to read the directions on the obstacle course. And the 2nd graders are reading it out loud, and the 5th graders are helping them to get the words that they couldn't get. So getting to see them support each other and kind of come up with those ideas has been really, really great. And also watching them kind of come up with their own obstacle course. I've had students that say, hey, can I help next month with coming up with the design? And that's been really cool to see. Seeing students care for that space in that way and correcting each other if someone's not using a material correctly has been great. And then also the staff collaboration. I think, like I said, that's been one of the benefits is that we don't have staff running around from here to here. We're able to group students together more. And one of our barriers has been that if a staff member is absent, we don't have someone to fill that space usually. But we have found we haven't had to cancel many groups because staff have covered for each other because they've seen the importance of having this break space. So that's been really cool. It's been really, really helpful with time management for students and staff.
Okay, so we have a video here. We have several. I don't know if we can get the volume up a little bit. Or maybe I hear.
And jump in. Okay. Does it help you calm down, girls? Yes. Say, we love Struble Motor Lab.
Those girls are some of our friends that I feel like maybe need it. I just want to highlight, like they're extremely good students. They're extremely sweet. They do everything they need to do in the classroom, but it really helps them to stay focused.
Hi, my name is Lynn, and I really love Motor Lab because it helps me with being non-disrespectful and not rude to Miss Warder. Because when I was down at the Motor Lab, it helped me chill out and let all my stress down. And another thing I like about Motor Lab is that I have really good friends and stuff like that. And Miss Dawn was really nice, and I got to do lots of stuff for down the line. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Cassidy, and the Motor Lab helped me because it was really calming, and I really liked it down there because it was time to help me with stuff to make me calm down. Because every time I came back from Miss Lewis' class, I used to be very rude and very disrespectful to Miss Warder, and ever since I went to the Motor Lab and came back to class, it was very helpful.
What is your favorite activity to do in the Motor Lab?
I don't know, all of them I like, and what else my favorite is the crash pad.
Okay. And how does the Motor Lab help you at school?
After I'm done, I just get focused and feel relaxed, and I sometimes I can't think, and that's why I can't do it well.
And then we'll just kind of leave you with a feel-good video, and then we'll.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same.
I love it.
I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
And I make you understand you're having delusions of grandeur.
I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change until I try. I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's life, because I much too high am I defying gravity. Kiss me goodnight. I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
What do you think, Ashley? You good? I want to go to level 10. I want to do level 2. Let's try 2. Okay. 4 and then 5 and
Thank you guys so much.
And I just wanted to say, we would love anyone who would like to come visit the Motor Lab. We'd love to have you guys there. We have lots of new things this year, too, to get out, and we're excited, so thank you.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love, so thank you guys so much.
So if you're in the program, do you?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're in the program, do you stay in the whole year, or are you reevaluated each periodically, or?
So it's been we've kind of been trying to figure that out. We have had some students who it hasn't been the best fit for, whether that's the teacher saying maybe it's not the best fit. We've also had some students say, hey, this isn't for me. And so at that time, we have had a couple of students exit the program. We've had most of our students that have started in there stay in there, but I would say that we kind of want it to be fresh every year. So while we'll take into consideration that some students used the space last year, we kind of want to wait a little bit to hear from their teacher this year to ensure that they still need it, if that makes sense. Would you say that's accurate?
Is there some kind of checklist for that referral, that things for teachers to look out for, that this is the appropriate candidate for your program?
Yeah, so last year like I said, we rolled it out, kind of just seeing how it goes, where the needs might be. This year, I would think it would go with our RTI process for our behaviors. So as teachers are referring students for that process, if they get to like tier 2 level, this might be something we suggest, or just me as like the grade level counselor might suggest to give it a try. I know sometimes I have students on 504s when they have a break in their plan. This could, be very useful for them. But I would also say this year, like last year, we took some data on just attendance and how many groups we were able to fit in with different staff members and people's schedules. This year, it would be cool to collect data and surveys with teachers with if they feel like it's beneficial, is it helpful, do we want to try to wean them off of a break? We have some students who use it multiple times a day. Could they go down to just one time a day? So adjusting as needed. I think the goal would be that they could use the space, regulate, learn some things on their own, and then maybe transition to not needing that. But we're kind of working all that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's a great creative way to be proactive is what I saw, to try to like curb the behaviors before they happen. But it also gave them a sense of accomplishment while they were in there, maybe for some of the things that they were doing. I was curious, what are some ways that you've talked about to keep kids from taking advantage of wanting to be there, because they're little manipulators sometimes, and
Yeah.
you know them best, so I'm sure you've thought that through.
This has been something that I have worked very, very hard to ensure that it's not occurring, because, so we have our smaller like sensory room that's up near the CrossCat pod, and I've worked so hard over the years on that space, and it's been really hard for me to get people on board to use it the way that I think it should be used. And so this space, I didn't want it to get taken advantage of. And so, like I said, we don't allow it to be a reactive space, and that's more of the training that we have to do with staff more than the teachers, or more than the kids themselves, because we are only allowing students to use it during their scheduled time. So like I said, it's not a reactive space, so if a kid is having a meltdown, they go somewhere else.
Okay, that's
so
what I was gonna
so they
ask.
go we find another space for them to use, and then we can look at, okay, do we need to adjust their time? Are they consistently having a behavior at 1 o'clock, and do we need to move their time from 1:30 to 12:45 so that we can kind of curb that behavior before it occurs? But we've been trying to even lock the space so that people can't go in there when it's not their time.
Yeah, so by no means a reward for bad behavior, trying to get to it.
And we did have this year several times where if a student comes in and they run right over to the crash pad before doing our set routine, and we've given them different opportunities to learn the routine, and some warnings there that they might miss the motor lab the next day because they didn't utilize it in the appropriate way. So there was like a natural consequence of having to earn their motor lab time back if they were misusing it after multiple times of trying to redirect it too. So that kept them in line a little bit too. Yeah. So
typically when they come in, like Taylor said, we have a routine that they follow when they come in, and we try. It's hard, every staff is a little different, so we try to pop our heads in and ensure that staff are doing it the right way. But when students come in, we have a little waiting area where they're expected to sit. We usually have them wash their hand or use hand sanitizer, and then we kind of talk about what our plan is for the day. And like Taylor said, if they're already kind of showing they can't handle it, we give them a couple chances, but it might lead to them missing a day or two. But usually it's a rewarding enough space that they're like, if they miss it for a day or two, they want it back. So.
Who is in there with them? If,
So we used our support team, so just members of our staff who are able to schedule a time in there. So that was myself, the school counselors. Becca was awesome enough to work her schedule to be able to be in there. And then our ALP assistants as well would have times in there because we found they were going to classrooms to do support calls one-on-one with kids, but now if they're in the motor lab and the kids come to them, they have 6 kids now that are all benefiting from this break, and we're meeting more kids' needs. So we took turns, and there was a couple of times during the day that it was closed at that time because no one was in there supervising. Yeah, we're gonna try to maximize our time this year too.
awesome.
Yeah.
What makes it a little challenging is that for a lot of our staff that are in there, it is very much like volunteer time. Like it's, you know, and it's not a whole long block. Like I'm usually in there. This year I was in there from 12:30 to 1. So I was in there, I'd had 2 groups of students, 15 minutes each. But I was able to do that thankfully because they were able to come to me. If I had to go pick them all up, I probably wouldn't have time with how my schedule was working, but they met me in there. They knew if for some reason I was late, they sat down. If I didn't show up in the next minute, they went back to class. Now some of our kindergarten groups, we did have to make some adjustments because they couldn't quite handle the hallway transition. But like Taylor said, and that makes it hard, like if I have a day off or I'm sick, I had to make sure I got coverage for that day or that break wouldn't be happening. But we would love to find even more staff members that if we can find 15 minutes here, could you just take 1 break a day, you know?
So a group effort.
One more question, sorry, I just wrote down a bunch of things. But how do you align the kids' schedules to make sure they're not missing important curriculum time, but also getting to use this?
Yeah, so that's tricky, of course. I think one of the things we looked most at because I kind of helped put together the groups, and obviously when in our referral form, we have teachers select, there's different times that they would prefer, first choice, second choice. So that would be the first way for them to suggest times that would be best. But we also worked around a lot of we had a lot of kids come right after lunch. So right after lunch, they'd walk on down for 10 minutes and then go back up to class, or after recess, before a transition time. So that was really helpful. We kind of maximized our transition times, and then just worked with teachers for what they found was maybe the hardest part of their day. If they have a really difficult morning because they're always sleeping, took in a lot of factors into play and tried to make the groups as beneficial as possible. I think that's why we ended up trying out different grade levels, because I was like, well, this student really needs it at this time, then we're gonna try them together, and then that's why we were so surprised to find that there was extra benefits to that, so, yeah.
Thank you, guys, I can't wait to see what it shows at the end of the year
Yes,
of how kids
yeah.
are improving.
I'm excited.
Thank you, guys, really appreciate it.
Just one last question. Is this a space where you would ever see a use for an emotional support animal? Because they bring stress levels down tremendously.
Yeah, please bring one in. Do you have one?
You don't want my $3.
I think the students would really love that, and I definitely, there's a lot of research behind that. That could be a really cool space, yeah.
I know when a support dog comes into my office at work, everybody's stress level just drops
Yes,
immediately.
the power,
They're
yeah.
a wonderful thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Definitely take it under consideration, for sure.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you, ladies, so
Thank
much.
you,
That was
guys.
very
Thank you, guys.
educational and fun.
And I just want to say, they're amazing. They have taken this to such another level. I couldn't be prouder of the 2 of them for even presenting all this tonight. So thank you both.
And next, we'll move on to Student Achievement Liaison Report with Nicole.
All right, so this evening, we would like to recognize 70 students were designated as AP Scholars. 22 students earned the most prestigious award, which is the AP Scholar with Distinction recognition granted by the College Board of Students to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more AP exams. And these are the 22 students here, so congratulations to those students. It's an awesome accomplishment. And with athletics, Northwest High School would like to recognize Ezekiel Kelly for becoming the first University of Cincinnati football player to commit for the class of 2027. So congratulations. And in fine arts, Corrine Middle School would like to recognize Callie Clippard and Carolyn Thielen for their work on the CMS mural project. The goal of the project is to promote artistic messages of positivity, kindness, self-acceptance, and growth mindset throughout the building. All of the artwork will be designated by CMS students. And they would also like to thank the PTA for providing the paint and supplies for this project. And here at Struble with citizenship, Struble celebrated 35 students who were invited to participate in the final Blue Jay breakfast of the school year. The students were recognized for being role models of the Blue Jay way, taking care of self, others, and our school. Students enjoyed breakfast with family members and earned a certificate with a personalized message from their teachers and were given a t-shirt to proudly wear at school. And at Pleasant Run Elementary is proud to share that one of their kind, caring, and creative fourth grade Knights is making a splash in the community. Brody Baldwin turned a fun hobby and desire to buy an expensive baseball bat into a fundraiser to help local animal shelters. Brody raised over $4,000, and he recently donated $500 of that to support cats and dogs at the Animal Friends Humane Society. He sold his pens at places like the Donut Spot and throughout his business Facebook page, gaining support from nurses, teachers, friends, and many community members along the way. So congratulations. I'm sure we'll be seeing him create many more businesses in the future. So congratulations to all of our students, and we look forward to the fall and the start of school and many more recognitions to come. Thank you.
Next, we will move to Butler Tech update with Jim.
Yeah, I don't have a report tonight, but we'll have a presentation at the next meeting.
Okay. And legislative liaison report with Mark.
Sure, thank you. The big thing right now is the House Bill 96. That's the governor's two-year budget. On June 30th, Governor DeWine signed the state's next two-year budget, House Bill 96, into law. Before signing, the governor issued 67 line-item vetoes. Key education-related vetoes included item number 53, partisan school board elections, number 55, county budget commission authority and procedure, 63, 40% cash balance carryover, 65, 20 mil floor calculation. This would have an included fixed sum for levies. And 66, school district property tax restrictions, elimination of fixed sum levies. In his messaging, the governor emphasized the need for comprehensive property tax reform and announced plans to convene a working group that will include legislators, agency officials, school officials, community members, and tax policy experts. On Monday, the 21st, the Ohio House voted 61 to 28 to override Governor DeWine's House Bill 96 veto items, which restricts political subdivisions, including school districts, from pursuing replacement property tax levies, as well as fixed sum emergency, substitute emergency, and combined school district income tax and fixed sum property tax levies. The veto override now advances to the Senate for consideration, where the override attempt will need 20 votes to be successful, and the Senate does not have a scheduled session yet to this date.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl, for all the translation.
Darryl, any reports from any employee organizations?
Not tonight.
All right, and community comments. As per policy 0169.1, community may give 3 minutes to address the agenda items of any topic during community comments. However, no more than 15 minutes will be devoted to public participation unless the board unanimously agrees to continue discussion. No response to this submission will occur from board members or district administration during this time. Once the 15-minute time frame is over, appropriate follow-up by district administration may occur at a later time if warranted. I have no community comments tonight.
Right, for the consent items, we'll start with Human Resources.
We seek approval for the following: 6 resignations, 28 initial appointments, several change in status, various supplemental items and leaves of absence, and 1 job abandonment.
We have 2 donations tonight. Emeritus donated money for student incentives at Struble Elementary School. Fran Farmer and Roger Davis made a monetary donation to Colerain High School for negative lunch balances. And we have several vendor contracts for special ed, Best Point, and auxiliary.
The superintendent recommends the board approve the consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I was curious, there's a line for Best Point that says various, but there's no dollar amount for that. What is that?
It would be based on the various contracts for different students.
So it could be no limit financially to it, or?
That's our
Because usually
partnership
it will
agreement.
say
There's
up
no
to.
financial obligation to us for Best Point. That just gives us the opportunity to give them space for them to run their services, and then they bill privately for that. So it's the partnership that doesn't cost the district anything, but it
Okay.
just has them on our site.
Okay, thank you. And then Skyward Academy and Union Day, what are those?
So those are placements for students with disabilities that,
Okay.
based on the best interest of the team, students attend those locations instead of the programs within our schools.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Are we confident we're going to have staff in place to cover all of our?
So we are fully staffed for teachers, 100%. I'm knocking on everything I can knock on.
Sorry.
So, no, that's okay. So 100% of our teachers are fully staffed. We do still need 1 ESL teacher. And we are short 2 food service workers and 2 custodians, 3 paras, but we have a hiring event tomorrow. So
Okay.
we're hoping that.
And
we're able to get
would
this
you
one.
be there Wednesday too, at the community event
Yes,
also?
yes. So we are volunteering at that event as well, yes.
Chris, how's the bus driver situation?
Fully staffed. So, as of now, again, knocking on wood, the transportation team has done an amazing job of really filling those vacancies. So, let's all note this date. But no, for right now, we are fully staffed.
I do have a bus question since we're talking about that. Over the years, we've talked about having the child's picture pop up for safety when they get on and off the bus. And we're not doing paper passes this year, so how do we ensure that, especially the first week, I mean, probably a lot of kids lose them, but how do we ensure that our kids are on the right bus and make our bus drivers feel safe that they have who they should have on the buses?
Especially with the younger students, the school buildings put name tags and things like that on them. Plus, the teachers also gather them and make sure that they get on the correct buses.
But on the first day, though, from home,
No.
those days, like from their house, how do they make sure that they have the right kids if they don't have a paper bus pass?
They have their names, so when they greet the kids and they're asking the kids their names, they know if those kids are able to identify themselves, and then parents are typically there for the younger students. So it's typically through just verbal confirmation, because for new students, until the school pictures are taken, we wouldn't have pictures to upload yet anyway.
So are we still looking to eventually have that technology in place on our buses?
It's part of the software, so as we continue to use that software and get that, but it's, yes, that would be something down the road that we're still working toward.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Go ahead and vote. Yeah.
Mine's not.
Matt, work your magic.
Since under consider discussion still, the voting choice decision. Join meeting. Okay, thank you.
All right, and that passes without opposition.
So good evening. For the approval of the fiscal consent items, first I'd ask the board to dispense with reading of and approve the regular board meeting from June 23rd and July 10th. For our financial report, we have our financial report for the month of June, which is also our fiscal 25 year-end report. Our all funds balance is $99 million. Our general fund unreserved balance was $31 million, which was 1.6% higher than we were projecting with our forecast, or about $500,000. Our cash balance policy requires us to have 25% or higher, and we're at 28%. Our revenues year-to-date were $114 million, or at 101% of projections. Interest rates staying higher did help with that. Our expenditures were $110 million, or at 97%, and our encumbrances at year-end were at $2.4 million, or about 2%. So in total expenditures were 99%. Our invested weighted average return was 4.29%, and we also have our annual commercial paper report that we're required to do on an annual basis attached. Our list of monthly bills were our routine monthly bills, as well as we had Colerain High School turf, the preschool renovation, our annual Medicaid fees, AP exams, textbooks, the district generator, some bus repairs, our Waycross contract, and some auxiliary and grant fund payments. And then finally, we have to approve the change funds for fiscal 26 as we're gearing up for our athletics and food service. And then we need to accept, approve, and appropriate our auxiliary funds. This is a new biennial budget, so we have to set up the new biennium funds for all our auxiliary schools. With that, I ask the board to approve the fiscal consent items as listed.
Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or discussion?
What is the auxiliary funds? Can you just describe that for people?
So that's state funds that flow through the district, so we're the fiscal agent for our non-public schools, so that they can spend those funds on various things that are for instructional purposes.
Okay, thank you. And then with what Mark was talking about with the House Bill 96, what are some things you're doing to prepare for any changes that we would have to make, or how do you kind of go through that process of to not be surprised?
Well, most of House Bill 96 ended the way we were projecting and forecasting, so the district did end on the guarantee as we've been projecting since November. Part of the vetoes are going to not help us, but we're going to have to decide as a board going forward. We know we have 2 renewals and a need for new money. With the vetoes, they're reducing the types of levies we can even try to go for, to ask our community for support. So we have to wait to see what happens to decide what our options are. But continuing to look in to see, make sure we know what our options are and what it equates to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, we can go ahead and vote. And that also passes without opposition.
And for other items, we have a resolution awarding roof repair at our Early Learning Center as urgent necessity. This is due to a roofing issue we have there that's created a significant leak that needs immediate response. So the superintendent recommends the board approve the resolution for emergency roof repair as listed.
Okay.
This allows us to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this, just to clarify for people who are watching, this allows us to move forward with awarding the contract and not doing a traditional bid process, which saves us time and it allows us to remediate the issue in a timely fashion because of the urgency.
Got a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Any questions?
How do you ensure then that you're getting the best person and company for the job? Is it just people we've used?
This is a consulting firm that we've used several times through the years, and we also require them to get us multiple quotes. So they'll go out to, it's kind of a quicker bid process where they already have the specifications written, and then they'll get quotes from multiple vendors, and then we get to go from there.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead and vote. And that also passes without opposition.
The next one is a revision to our 25-26 handbook and code of conduct. This is clerical only. There's no substantive changes. We have our codes, which have a number, and then they have a description of the code. With our new transition to a new student system, the codes were longer than what would fit in the system. So now we have an addendum that has a short code and a long code. So this just allows us to have the information that we can put in the system that meets the character limit of our new system. It doesn't change anything in terms of what codes we have, what they mean. It's just clerical. So with that, the superintendent recommends that we approve the handbook and student services guidelines as listed.
Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Any questions? Go ahead and vote. That also passes without opposition.
And finally, we have a few fiscal items from year-end and starting the new year. So first, I'd like to ask the board to accept the fiscal 25 final minute certificate that's been approved by the Hamilton County Budget Commission. What this states is that our appropriations, our expenditures were within our revenue, and that's for $248 million.
You have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We can go ahead and vote on that. And that also passes without opposition.
And then finally, we have our official certificate of estimated resources. That's as we're gearing up for the year. This has also been approved by the Hamilton County Budget Commission for $272 million, and it just says that our appropriations for the year or our budgets for the year are within our estimated revenue.
Can you have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? We can go ahead and vote. And that also passes without opposition.
Thank you.
So tonight I have some updates. First, I want to say thank you to some of our staff members who volunteered, as well as our Corrigan Township first responders, police and fire, and our Hamilton County Communications Center. Last week, we ran 2 different days of critical incident training where all of those partners came together with staff who volunteered to be there that day to run through multiple scenarios, and we were able to test systems, communication, and collaboration to make sure that if, God forbid, something were to happen, we would have a very coordinated and unified response. We have great partners with our first responders. They're amazing. They do incredible things, and we are better because of their partnership. So just wanted to extend that thankfulness and that gratitude to them and acknowledge that, we had some really impressive training that was a learning opportunity for everyone involved, not just us from a school perspective, but the first responders as well. So that continues to make us better every year. We also have some important dates coming up. This Wednesday from 9 to 12 at Taylor Elementary, we have our health fair. This is our annual event where a lot of community partners come together to make sure that students have what they need to be ready for school. And so we are excited for that to be at Taylor from 9 to 12 for people to come out and get their backpacks, their vaccinations. So we'll have a lot of events going on during that time. It's a great event. We also have, as Susan mentioned earlier, a hiring event for the few open positions we have left. We would love for some very committed, student-centered people to come out and join our team tomorrow at Corning High School from 11 to 1. Just a couple of reminders that for our parents, we did send out an email that the parent portal is open. It is an annual process that has parents filling out and updating information about their student, contact information. So we encourage parents to continue to update that. It is required for parents to update that first before they can actually get in this fall and see their student schedules and the grades. So really want to make sure that people jump on that and get that done ahead of time. Speaking of that, we also have kindergartners who are still enrolling, and we have new families who have moved in who are continuing to enroll. We encourage people to do that as soon as possible because this is our heavy time, and so there is a process to get through that enrollment. Our website has all the information that people need and the links to get started, so we want to encourage people to not wait, but to continue to do that early and monitor that process. As we get closer, we do have open houses at our schools, so we encourage our families to be in tune with that open house so that they can be there, they can meet the staff, they can hear what's going on, and they can stay engaged. Joining the PTA is a great opportunity in open house, so we encourage our families to not only come get connected to the school, but also to the PTA. Our PTAs do an amazing job supporting our schools, and so those are a great kickoff to being involved and engaged, but it's also a year-long process. We encourage people to stay engaged. As we get closer to the first day of school, we do continue our phase-in days. So that means not every kid shows up on the first day of school. So first day of school is Thursday, August 14th. On that day, we'll have at elementary, grades 1, 3, and 5 will be in attendance. At middle school, it'll be our 6th grade only, and at high school, our 9th grade only. That is a way to really give our students an opportunity, especially at that transition year, an opportunity to really learn that building, learn the staff, learn the routines, and the expectations. On Friday, at the elementary, it's the opposite grades, so K-4. At the middle school, it's 7th and 8th grade to really make sure that we're reiterating the expectations and keeping things moving. And at high school, it's everyone 9 through 12. Preschool has their own phase-in, so those 2 days they're doing individual meetings. Their phase-in is on that Monday and Tuesday, the 18th and 19th, and they do it by alphabet. So that phase-in is continuing to happen, but it's something that we've done for years, and it's something that really helps set our year up for success. And then lastly, we want to recognize Nancy Slattery. We were notified by the Ohio School Board Association that she was a recipient of the 2025 Aptitude Award. Out of over 3,400 board members across the state of Ohio, 55 were getting that award this year, and she was one of those 55 and will be recognized at the regional conference in October. So we just wanted to say congratulations to Nancy as well. So a lot going on, but
Thank you.
Please stay engaged for the beginning of the year, and then once the year starts, please stay engaged. Thank you.
For the new software, who is the point of contact if parents are saying that they didn't get the email?
So it would be the schools. All of the school-based offices and secretaries are monitoring that and can help parents. If they didn't get the email with the unique code, they can call the school, and the school can help get them connected.
Okay, and then Wednesday and at open house, would there be a place for parents to fill that out? Will you be encouraging people to do that there?
Yeah, our principals at open house will be encouraging that because they're also monitoring that because that information is updated in their system so they can make sure they've got the correct information. If something happens at school, they're calling the right person, they've got the right doctor information in there. So yeah, they're continuing to monitor that and help coordinate that.
Okay. And then do we have an update on the $3,400 board book? manual?
It'll be available at the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, and next, we need to appoint a delegate and an alternate for the annual business meeting, which will be held on November 17th of 2025. Do we have any volunteers or any nominations?
What are the dates of the conference?
The 16th through the 18th. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Of November?
Yes. I'll go as a delegate if no one else is interested. And do we have an alternate?
Congratulations.
Figure it's my turn to do it, huh? Anybody else as an alternate?
I will only have a couple weeks left
Yeah,
on
it
this
should probably
term,
be
so I
Jim.
don't want to spend the district money to go to something that's not going to, I won't be able to impact anything, so that's why I'm not volunteering.
Oh, reasonable.
I'll do the alternate.
Okay, thank you. All right, and can we get a motion and a second for that?
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, clicked on the wrong name there. All right, we can vote on that. All right, and that also passes without opposition. All right, and we'll move on to board member comments. Nicole?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Struble for hosting and for coming and presenting. You guys did an awesome job. And thank our booster organizations. Lately at the high school, they've had a cornhole tournament for Corrine. They did a golf outing for Northwest, and just all the work that they put in. And our band has been practicing, the band's up there getting ready, and athletics, and seeing teachers in the classrooms getting ready. So just wish everyone the best the first few weeks of school, and also just encourage everyone to sign up for emails, PTA, booster organizations, Facebook groups to stay informed and involved. So thank you.
Thanks. Mark?
I just want to thank Karen and her team. You guys, it's always interesting when you see people present and you can see their passion, and you guys are full passion. So, Susan and your team, thank you so much. We can't even comprehend the amount of effort going in to come here and say all of our teaching positions are full, and transportation. That's been a while. And I just want to wish the teachers, I know this is their feng shui time where they get their rooms ready. And if their rooms are not perfect exactly the way they are, they start off kind of in a weird position. So I pray that their feng shui gets put in exactly how they would like it.
Jim?
I wanted to congratulate Nancy on your award. And on August 21st, we're going to, Community Partners for Education are going to have down at Strickers Grove, August 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. $7 a person, $25 for a family of 4 or more. So the more you bring, it's only $25. So, and that goes from 6 to 9, again, on August 21st.
And Chris?
I want to thank the Struble folks for having us here this evening. It's a lovely building. And thanks to the touching group that put on the presentation. It's a novel idea, and I think companion special dog, special needs dog would be a great thing to add too. I agree with you, Nancy, whenever one of those animals would come onto the unit in the hospital or wherever I was working, it was a very, very positive thing for everybody. And congratulations to you on your award.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, and the Motor Lab, I really enjoyed that presentation. It was very informative and entertaining. I definitely intend to make an appointment with you guys to come out and see it in person. I think it sounds great. And I also would like to congratulate Brody Baldwin. What a great young man. I expect to see him on Shark Tank someday if that show's still on when he grows up. That's pretty awesome what he's been able to accomplish. And I also would like to invite everybody, please come out for the back-to-school fair on Wednesday at Taylor, as Daryl said. It's my favorite event of the year. I love going out there. It's so much fun to see all the families and the kids getting ready for school. So please don't forget about it. Put it on your calendar, and we look forward to seeing you. All right, and we will be moving to executive session to discuss an employee contract, and when we return, there will be a vote.
The superintendent recommends the board approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
Second.
All right, we can go ahead and vote. And that passes without opposition. All right, we will return to our session now after the executive session. And can I get a motion and a second for approval of the treasurer's contract?
Okay, we make the motion that we accept the Amy's Wells contract ending in, I don't have the specific date, but 2031, basically a 5-year renewal. And so I make that motion.
Second.
All right. And any further discussion? All right, we can go ahead and vote. Okay, and that passes without opposition.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I love being here.
And then can I get a motion and a second for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
We can vote on that. And that also passes without opposition, meeting adjourned.